Previously on Alan Wake, something I only know as the Dark Presence held my wife captive in...
Hello everyone, today we're going to be looking at the run-on sentence achievement in Alan Wake. It's a pretty brutal achievement. It requires you to play through the entire Signal DLC in one shot without failing and reloading a single checkpoint. The DLC runs about an hour long, so if you get near the end and you screw up, well, there's an hour of your life gone. Have fun starting all over again, you poor bastard. So hopefully this guide will kind of help you. We'll get through it a little bit. Feel free to pause in your own playthrough for tips as you go, if you're running them simultaneously here. I'm just going to offer up the best advice I can here as we go. Hopefully it'll help you. This was my 4th or 5th attempt at getting this achievement, so I had failed quite a few times. I'll let you know how far I had made it before I had this actual successful run here. But I was quite relieved to be done with this and not have to do it anymore. It's a Sunday night here as I record this narration, and we got this video playing here. I just felt like I needed to clean up my back catalog a little bit more while I wait for Borderlands 2 to come out on Tuesday, and then that's going to consume a lot of my time. I'll be making quite a few videos to help people out with that, and just for fun and shenanigans. But I figured since I was going to hound this achievement anyway, and I have this wonderful game capture Elgato HD device, why not make a little video that can help some folks out? And I realize Alan Wake is not a particularly new game by any means, but it is a very good game. Hopefully more people will pick it up, because you can usually find it for only 20 bucks now. And explore this weird and wonderful story.
Something had gone wrong after I had finished Departure.
And there may be some issues with my video here as we go through this. I'm not entirely sure. There may be some skips or jankiness in the recording, which is something I'm going to have to resolve with the hard drive I used to record this to. I don't think it writes fast enough. But I couldn't exactly throw out the video after going to all the effort of getting a successful run, so maybe there'll be no more issues. Maybe there won't be any issues. Oh, there's a little bit of glitchiness. And the sound is a little bit off, so okay, you're going to have to forgive me for some of that. But we'll bear with it as we go here. Now for this first encounter in the diner here, as you can see, what I like to do is head back towards the bathroom, which means they only have one avenue they can go through to get to you. And then it's just lining up and shooting down a hallway. Makes this encounter pretty simple.
The world had become twisted.
Okay, now the video skipped a few seconds ahead. Again, apologize for the jankiness. In this part, don't really bother to shoot any of the guys. Just kind of dodge, use your flashlight to get up in their face and light check them to stall them a little bit, and then just make a sprint for that cabin. And you can get in without really having to fire or waste any time or bullets.
Yes. It made no sense for the GPS system satellite was in my eyes. It was guiding me towards something. Towards Zane? Sense for the GPS system satellite was in my eyes. It was guiding me towards something.
Alright, now this flare gun here is an extremely important flare gun. My entire playthrough of this chapter, I did not find any other flares. So maybe you'll find something that I missed, but otherwise kind of run on the assumption that those are the only 2 flares you're going to get, and use them wisely. Here's another section where combat is optional. The cars come to life and will try to take you out. I wouldn't recommend wasting your time or batteries out here to try to shoot all those cars. Instead, run straight ahead here. Kind of use this van as cover, and straight ahead here is the door you need to get through. Just run for that. Oops, I took a shot there. Just use your flashlight on that door and get inside as fast as possible. Grab your tools here. And this is another section where you will be ambushed here, so pick everything up. And then continue a little deeper into the store. And you'll see me turn around. There's a recurring theme in this chapter, which is clear your rear, basically. Make sure that the path you came from is cleared of enemies so that you have a retreat avenue. So those guys spawned behind me. I took them out. Now I have... the remaining enemies are only going to come at me from ahead. It's much nicer to have just one direction to worry about. Tubby Lumpkins got shot and killed. And wow, the sound is just not in sync at all. Apologies. Next time I make long videos like this, I will write to a different drive.
Everything I saw was familiar, and yet it wasn't.
Especially if I make big 720p HD videos.
I will try to guide you. Follow the signal.
I'm trying!
You must face yourself. Follow.
I wish some of these parts were skippable. If you fail the chapter over and over, as I did, it gets rather old to have to wait for the GPS things to work and your little conversations with Tom Zane. I wasn't a fan. And here's another spot where you have some much needed supplies. Pick up everything here before jumping across the bridge to the next encounter. This is another rare item here, the flashbang that drops here. I did not find another flashbang in the entire chapter. Again, there could be more and I just missed them, but that was the only one I found. So again, save your flashbang and save the flare gun for rainy days, because you're probably not going to get any more of them. And I did not realize that at the time when I was making this run here, so you can learn from the benefit of my hindsight. Because I really hate this encounter up here with the birds and all this crap in the park. So my theory was that I was going to try to get a couple guys together and then throw a flashbang and take out a bunch at once and cheese this encounter. And it really didn't work like I wanted it to. I kind of wasted my flashbang here. So I think I took out a couple guys and I got some birds that pissed off at me. But there's probably several sections where you could make better use of the flashbang than what I just did. It is okay to use a flare or two here to help give you a little bit of breathing space to reload and line up guys to weaken them with light. It also helps to keep the birds away, because as soon as this encounter is done, you're going to find at least one more flare. So you can use one flare here pretty consequence-free. Oh, that sound is just not on the right page. I'm gradually learning here. These early videos on my Penny Pinching Gamer channel are going to be pretty experimental, so bear with me. But I've been writing to an external 1 terabyte hard drive through USB, and that's where it's all been going raw as I've been recording it, so that I don't fill up my computer's hard drive. But I'm learning that it seems I can only write to my external hard drive at about half the speed I can write to my internal hard drive. And I think that could be the problem that's causing some of these errors. But I thought this video would be helpful enough despite a little bit of glitches, so I decided to keep it and run with it.
It was ridiculous, but I was more scared than amused. I felt like I was being hindered by an unseen force in ways I couldn't.
I'm not pretentious. I'm upfront with my video editing noobiness, but it's all in good fun. And again, here's another section where you want to cover your rear. As soon as you walk up those steps, a bunch of Taken spawn. Turn around. I use the shotgun here just to get rid of those guys in a hurry. You know, everyone has to come at you down the steps. So you have great visibility to everybody. You can just line them up and knock them down. Alright, now this part's a little bit of a lull. You have to trigger the memory here to open the gate.
I remember this. This happened before we found Barry.
The playground. Wakes pathetic memories of the Wonder Years and the contrary.
I know this playground area, I do highly recommend taking the time to destroy everything that comes at you. I'm not sure you can actually get through the doors ahead without taking this stuff out. You would just get annihilated. And I got myself in trouble here because I backed up without knowing where the heck I was going, and so I'm getting the crap beaten out of me by things I can't see. Now, I did manage to survive this, but it was a little ugly. You definitely do not have to be a perfectionist to get this achievement, as you'll see as this run continues. I had a lot of pretty awful encounters that I still managed to just barely scrape myself out of and keep going. So don't think that if you don't have a flawless run, you're going to be screwed. You just have to be quick on your feet and a little bit lucky.
I had to find the key to get the door open.
Okay, once you hit that door, now you need a key to be able to get in. I recommend staying up high here because a lot of the floating paranormal debris seems to have a hard time with that rail. So you shouldn't take any damage, or you're going to take less damage if you're trying to take out the deer pieces from up here. And after a little bit, the truck will come alive, and you don't really have to clear the truck out. You just have to have an angle at the key and clear the word key, and then the door will open, but it still can be helpful to get rid of the whole truck. Okay, it took a little bit of time in this room because I thought there was something in here. But there's not.
The shifts were getting more severe. I wasn't sure if the place got bigger or I got smaller. The signal was going haywire. I would have to find my way out of here on my own.
Okay, in this part, there's quite some significant potential for environmental kills. Just using the word blast, you can annihilate those guys without having to fire a single bullet. So if you know what you're doing, you can get through this whole part without firing a bullet. Though I was not particularly skilled at this, so I ended up having to use more bullets to get through. When in doubt, use your ammo. Seriously. Trying to get too cute and line them all up with blasts and not waste a single shot is more likely to get you killed if you don't line up things right. And then you have to restart all over, which is really annoying. So if you've got to shoot, shoot, but be aware of the fact that there is this huge environmental kill potential here, and try to make as best use of that as you can. And you can see me running back and checking behind me a lot, just to make sure that my rear is clear. Again, that's very, very important. Keep your retreat path clear so that you can't get surrounded. Here's another example of where I screwed up. I kind of put myself in the corner there. Managed to work my way out of it okay. Suppose that wasn't too bad. And then when you get to the end, there's the ladder with climb and your blissful return to the surface.
Zane left me a page. He was trying to help me.
Take a few minutes to catch your breath here because there's no real combat. Need to stretch, use the bathroom, take a break, whatever. Obviously you can't quit the game, but if you need to pause for a few minutes during your run, this is as good a spot as any to do it.
Of your imagination, just like pretty much everything else you see here. Maybe even you.
That's insane.
Yeah, you're right. Everything that happened before made perfect sense, but this is insane. Good catch, Al.
Okay. Okay, look, I gotta get going. The GPS.
The GPS, yeah, I know. Follow the signal. Got it.
Okay, look, I gotta get going. The GPS.
GPS, yeah, I know. Follow the signal. Got it. Get a grip. All right?
You nag the way the real Barry does. You know that?
Well, hey, be fair. It's not my fault you think I'm annoying.
I don't think
Okay,
you're
here's your next level flashlight upgrade.
Relax, it's cool. Just try to stay on the ball here. You need to do what Zane tells you.
More batteries. Batteries
He's like the expert.
are relatively plentiful here, so don't feel that you need to get into the old school Resident Evil
Yeah.
hardcore item conservation mentality. It's okay to use some batteries.
And you don't. So why don't you ask yourself?
There's many a time through this chapter that
Sign for it back in
the game was offering me batteries and I couldn't pick them up because it was already maxed out. So if you're gonna blow through anything, blow through batteries.
Yeah. I guess the pen might be
If you complete that sentence, you're fired.
mightier than the sword.
You're fired. If you complete that sentence, you're fired.
Here's an easy environmental kill. Boom takes care of both of them. Just here, there's going to be batteries here and I can't even pick them up.
Not even flashing. The shadows and
Okay, this part can be tricky. I don't know if enemies keep coming or if there's a set number to them or what. But don't mess around with these four here. Just take them out. And now your goal is the sawmill. I just kept moving down along the right, and I took advantage of the environmental words when opportunity presented itself, though I didn't really make a point of it. The fireworks there knocked away all the darkness protecting these taken, and then it was just a turkey shoot. Again, checking my behind. Lots and lots and lots of environmental words you can use here, and this is a nice section where all the words in the environment are beneficial. They're the fireworks or the boom that take care of them automatically. So you don't have to be hyper conservative as to where you aim your flashlights like you will in a section that's coming up. And now at this point I just decided to make a beeline for the light to trigger a checkpoint and make all those guys go away. You don't have to fight everybody. It's generally best not to.
You know, we're gonna have to make a way across it. Thinking the solution has something to do with those words.
Really? You think?
Yeah, you should probably use them.
Your insight is staggering.
Okay, now with your magic searchlight here, aim at the words bridge. I think you have to have the searchlight boosted to destroy the words and make your bridge appear.
That's when things go right. Get up to something on your own, that's when the trouble starts.
That's horseshit.
That's when things go right. Figment, remember?
This kind of thing could drive a man insane.
I love the relationship between Alan and Barry in this game. They're just such weird, kooky, dysfunctional friends.
Wake's own words, littering the landscape. His books.
Okay, now this part is nasty. This is as far as I got on my last success, or my last attempt before this successful one. You need to be extremely careful of the words on the other side of the bridge, because I don't think there's a single one that's friendly. And so if you point your flashlight around all willy-nilly, you're going to trigger a lot of enemies. You're going to end up wasting a lot of ammo. As you can see, ravens, which would be, in this instance, Alan Wake's books, hardcover versions flying around at you while still making the raven squawks. Or enemies. Or possessed is like miscellaneous objects that just float around and come after you. So when trying to take out the textbook birds, aim high so that your flashlight doesn't hit any words you don't want it to hit. And now I stick to the right here to try to avoid as many words as possible, because you really want nothing to do with this. Stay high. I screwed up and I triggered one possessed thing to spawn. So now I had all of these birds coming at me. And I popped a flare, because that was kind of a gamble, because I was ways away from... I thought I was safely away from the words, and I was. And then I just stood my ground to try to make the books go away. But as you can see, enemy, ravens, it's just gross. You don't want to go in there. keep right. Another wave of birds that are books. Alan does some very special brand of drugs to come up with all these hallucinations, I gotta tell you. I'm afraid to think of what my writing would be like if I was taking whatever magical shrooms Wake likes. And okay, I screwed up and I spawned another enemy here, so I had to carefully take him out without spawning more. And then I kept to the right here. You can dodge almost all of that nastiness.
The earth shook. Streetlights pushed themselves up to the ground, flickering madly and spitting sparks. The earth shook. Streetlights pushed themselves up to the ground, flickering madly and
This part is pretty nasty too. You're going to see me waste a lot of flares here in the name of self-preservation.
Is all this really coming out of
Because the lights, I don't know if they're in a pattern. They probably are in a pattern, but you can't really count on it. And Taken keeps spawning from all over the place. And if you can get him in the light, good, more power to you because it's an instant kill. But you got to keep moving because Taken are coming and coming and coming. And there is no, this area is rather open, so it's rather hard to clear your rear and make sure that they're only coming from one direction. Which is also the name of a boy band I refuse to listen to. It's like an army of Justin Biebers. Anyway, random tangents aside. As you can see, I'm getting lucky and some Taken are biting it, but then others aren't in the light. So as you see where the lights fall, you have to take your best guess. Okay, is the Taken going to be in that light when it comes back on? Is it not going to be in that light? Don't do what I just did there, which is try to run past a guy. Usually ends in tears, but as you can see, they just keep spawning. And I don't know if spawns are unlimited or if you really took your time, if you could kill them all. But I didn't feel like spending the time to find out if I could kill them all. And then here again, I had to... I was so close to dead. I had to pop an emergency oh shit flare. Yeah, it was really, really bad. Now, as I was playing this part, I'm like tripping balls, just like, I gotta get out of here, I gotta get out of here! The advantage of recording this commentary afterwards so you don't have to hear me scream like a girl when I almost died. Not very flattering. Not very flattering at all. And now as I stagger like an idiot to the next checkpoint, check behind me, mentally give all those Taken the finger, and we carry on. And this is another section where I did laughably bad, just laughably bad, as you're about to see. And I still managed to get through it, so don't sweat it too much as long as you can recover. The best thing to do here would be to use this vehicle to drive around and play a little game of warfare with the possessed trucks that are going to show up in a second, like that guy. Because that's way easier than having to do what I ultimately do here. But since I'm so pro, I'll show you the hardcore way to get through this sequence. Also known as the you suck at driving and don't know how to use a flashlight method of getting through this section alive. So now I've been here for 10 seconds and they've destroyed my Jeep. And so now I'm being hunted by 2 monster trucks and a bunch of Taken, and I honestly have no right to get through this part. I should be dead, I should have to start over. I just popped a flare because I was scared out of my mind, and now I take out a flare gun and popped it right into the truck, which took out one of the truck, and I think it took out one of the Taken too, and that saved my ass. So now there's just one truck left, and I'm using this spool of whatever on the left as cover. And then I took out the second truck. Now you can spawn another car here if you need to, like I did, if you're so pro. There's more Taken. There's yet another vehicle you can use if you have to. Flipping that switch opens the door. Definitely pick up this pump action shotgun. Lifesaver. And keep an eye out for the red boxes. Lots of much needed supplies. No, I took a second in here to clear out everything before moving on. Or at least what was right in my face. Okay, now in my super awesome driving skills, I got the vehicle stuck and I got a second Jeep destroyed. This is why you should never let me drive the Warthog in any Halo game, or, you know, let me drive vehicles, period, just because I will get them destroyed quickly. So I took out those possessed things. Thankfully there were only a couple. Now there's a whole bunch of Taken in the shed, and here again you have some opportunity for some environmental kills, which I didn't fully realize the potential that's there, but I did get a few guys for free. Otherwise this is relatively easy because they all have to come out the door at you. Just stay on that side of the door and take them out as they come at you. In here, I think I was still freaking out a little bit, so I took my time in deciding which way I was going to move my ass. But you can just go up these stairs here. And take this as a moment of calm to gather some much needed supplies. I don't like the hunting rifle as much as the shotgun, so I didn't really bother to pick that up. But do take the flare. That audio delay is remarkably consistent. Why is the video ahead of the audio?
What are you up to? I thought this was my side of the bed.
Hey, what are you up to? I thought this was my side of the bed.
And here's another section where I'm being a bit of a herp derp and I don't realize which section you need to go down. And so I run around the heavy machinery. I'm like, hey, you must have to go this way. Clearly, I don't know how to follow the signal. Can't jump that. Nope.
He entered the trap, surrounded by it.
Down here.
Nowhere to run.
I'm so sick of you.
And I'm already expecting an ambush before that video even plays. And I'm right, because the guy comes from behind. Thankfully, there's just one. So turn around and take him out immediately. Now you're clear to face the rest. They like to cluster up for you, so you can get pretty decent use of a battery on these guys.
No, it isn't.
And now, of course, in any horror movie fashion, you have to run towards the chainsaw. You know what's coming. What doesn't help is that there's another guy behind you. Take him out right away. It would probably be better if you have your shotgun equipped at this part. And just don't even mess around with this guy, just unload on him. And checkpoint is the street light, of course. I didn't have any difficulties with this part, but just make sure that you keep them to one side of you and don't get surrounded. And again, potential exists here for some environmental kills. I made pretty poor use of the canisters in this section, so I had to be a little bit more bullet happy than is ideal, but still I got through this okay. So you can see I wasted like 4 shots trying to hit the tank and frickin' miss it. So I just ended up having to take out the tank in the good old-fashioned way. You know, there's gonna be a second wave of guys here, which will be perfect to take out with the tanks. And then this guy comes and throws me off my game, so I have to just shoot everybody up. And then I just shot the tanks to get them out of the way because I was paranoid that somehow they could be used against me.
I think the dust is setting off my allergy. You're not even really there.
The deeper into this chapter I got, the more paranoid I was, because that section with all the words and the birds that are text, that are books, That was as far as I'd ever gotten before this run, so I'm like freaking out now and like 35, 40 minutes into it, and I'm terrified of failing because I really do not want to start all this crap over. And I was highly, highly motivated to make this the successful run, and thankfully it was, because otherwise I was going to be in a crabby mood the rest of the night. This is a mean, mean achievement. And as you've heard me say several times before, clear your rear. I popped the flare because I was in a bit of a panic. There's a little bit of environmental kill potential there with that tank. And I'm not sure where the hell that guy came from, but I just heard an extra set of steps, so I thought to turn around. For some reason I was paranoid of an encounter here, so I was trying to trip stuff from up high, but your flashlight can't really hit the words from up there.
Stop it! They're waiting for us downstairs. We don't have time for Alan.
I knew she wasn't ready.
And this really isn't complicated, but this took me a second to figure out. Basically what you have to do is hit this button here, which causes a crane to maneuver your bridge over, and then you need to knock down that second plank, which I'm running towards here. Push this down, and this is your ramp to get up onto that bridge, but that's only there temporarily, so I hadn't figured this out, so I missed it and it moved away. So I have to push the button and run back to be able to get a crossing. Also be a little cautious of how you do this here, because this would be a really sad way to die and have to start all over if you fell into the murk below. And this part drove me nuts because I'm thinking, oh crap, here's this huge freaking guy, and another taken, and you have to jump right into the middle of that. So I just popped a flare to give myself a little bit of breathing room, so that I can start popping some caps and some asses. Now, somewhere there was another guy that came behind, and I got a little bit roughed up there. Not my best work, but I survived it.
Hey, lover. Come here. I've got something for you.
I could only hope that Alice was all right. I didn't know what happened to her after she left the dark place.
Come here. I've got something for you.
I could only hope that Alice was all right. I didn't know what happened to her after she left the dark place.
Zane? Is that you?
Hey, hold that pose. That was a good one.
Like this?
Yeah, but smile a little more. No, that's too much.
The amount of damage I sustained in that fall kind of freaked me out a little bit, but I think that's an inevitable part of completing the chapter, so I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Terrible things all the time. People want to think that you're intimately familiar with them. You kill Casey in this book. You need to look a little bit like a murderer. Oh, that's good. Do that again.
And now be very, very happy if you make it to Alan's apartment here, because this means you are pretty much at the finish line. Which, by the way, means if you die here, defeat is all the more crushing, because you are within sight of the finish line. It's basically just this final story section, and then your quote-unquote boss fight against the TVs of Doom.
You made it. This area of the dark place is calm, at least for the time being.
So now Tom Zane, the great lost character of BioShock,
Zane.
is going to drop some knowledge on us.
Darkness coming.
And because this is the end, just go nuts on batteries, go nuts on shotgun, go nuts on flares. Use everything you've got. You'll see how I use things coming up here, but don't hold back. There's nothing left to. There's no reason left to hoard. So if you've managed to keep your flashbang this far, I'll show you where I would recommend using it. And if you have one or both of the flares left, I'd show you where I'd recommend using those too. Coming up here. First, we just got to ride out Alan's delirium.
Swept away by the gathering insanity. Zane was gone. Wake could feel the pressure gnawing at his mind. The darkness wasn't so bad. It was in him. He felt it. He knew the voice spoke the truth. It was just too hard to think again. He couldn't make sense of it. Couldn't. He wanted to go with the flow. Stop thinking and just let go.
So I know Remedy. There's rumors Remedy's making a game for next generation consoles. Part of me really hopes it's Alan Wake 2 because I love this franchise. At the same time, part of me hopes it's a new IP. Help them build up a bit more of a fan base because they deserve a following. Now what I did here for the first section of this fight is, as you can see, I dropped a flare right in front of the TV, and I used two here just to help, because the TV just don't really move around there. If you drop a flare, it's just going to eat away at them. And now here I am being a little scaredy pants for a few seconds because I didn't want to drop down there and I didn't know what the heck was going on. Now I'm not sure if the number of taken here is unlimited or if they spawn like every X number of seconds or what. Just be on a constant lookout for taken. No, I dropped a flare there, one of my flare gun rounds there to take out some big stuff. That's a totally valid spot to use one. If you can wait, it might be a little bit better to wait to this section of the fight where the TVs are in back. Because this is the nastiest part of the fight, and this is the part where I very nearly screw up a couple times and get myself killed. If you've got your flashbang grenade, this is an excellent time to use it. Just clear out the floating possessed phantasm shit, so that you have a clear path to those TVs, and then run up right into the TV's face and drop that flashbang right on top of it if you still have it. I did not, and I'm out of the flare gun ammo now, so I've got to make use of what I can, and your best plan B is to get up as close to the TVs as you can and drop flares on it. And again, don't be stingy with your batteries, because this is the end. Flares aren't going to reach all the TVs, so you kind of have to pick a side on where you're going to drop them. And you can see I almost got wiped out by that taken because I forgot to pay attention to those guys, so I had to drop a panic flare and kind of hide out in it for a second. And there's another phantasm thing. And another taken. And right now I guarantee you I was absolutely freaking out because I'm terrified I'm going to get killed, and I've beaten this chapter before, so I know this is the end. Here's another guy who damn near kills me. Like I said, I think part of it was just extreme paranoia and jitters because I'd finally gotten to the end of this after an hour, and I'm like, I don't want to fail this. I do not want to start over. And once you've got it out of the warehouse, you've pretty much won. I mean, there's a little bit more crap you have to do here. Pick up batteries and flares. Now it's going to drop a ship on you. But I don't know if this ship actually moves or poses any real threat. I just dropped a flare on it. And then you get, well, I suppose it looks like it's eating away at the dock, so if you take too long, it'll probably kill you. But just drop a couple flares here. And that'll eat away at it. Pay more attention to the birds whenever they get close to you. And now you simply need to run ahead here, and you've got it. So I hope this helped you on your quest to get the run-on sentence achievement. This was certainly a pain in the butt. I think it's the hardest one in the game, but damn, it feels good to have. Thanks for tuning in, guys.